They are counting upon you to read, as though holy makes way for breath, emptiness for its moist air. Think, no voices. Think, think, think.
We are honored to bring up to the stage Rose Smith. Rose is a poet with such a very fine eye for detail and descriptive language. I think that was the very first thought I had when I heard Rose read at Writer's Block. And I know I was nervous that night too because Scott told Rose to also listen to what I was going to do. So I was like, I was going to be up to snuff. But she came out tonight, so I guess that's a good sign. If you're not familiar with Rose's work, then this is going to be a real treat for you. Please give a nice warm welcome to Rose Smith.
So I know everyone in this room is familiar, maybe except Marcus is familiar with the collection Unearthing Ida. So this will come as no surprise. And oh my gosh, I hope I have the other poem in this stack that I wanted to read that is loosely related to that. Unearthing Ida was born over a period of years. It was difficult for me to write. I was probably actually too close to the work. But it was born. It managed to get born. So this poem is called Surrogates. Surrogates, a daughter speaks. For truth's sake, Ida, I long still to tell you I remember your trapped doe eyes as khaki held me from you, made you target for his Air Force boots as you cowered. Want to say I was much too young, a bow-legged spritz of a girl, tucked behind his victory snicker, failing to understand the jagged breach opened deep within you, but to share these broken words while you, so frail, eke your way through long-term care, one hand, one wheelchair revolution at a time, would be cruelty with no purpose. He's gone, 3 decades now, a wisp of smoke blowing over desert spans, a specter on street corners, someplace where they're serving bud on draft into friction-clouded old glass steins, while his goatee, combed, no longer graying, points back to memories littered with brash encounters. I want to tell you which came first. You, fresh from psychiatric care, frightened on the stair, or Zola, with her strange lilt, strangled Turkish words, who embraced him and your daughters lovingly and fed us him and her daughter lovingly and fed us, your girls, at arm's length out of pity. Thinking what a pair we were, shuffled into her house from nowhere else to go, but worth the extra rent, sugar daddy nights, smoke-filled rooms, saturated with jazz and ready loving. Time distorted by second hands serves no purpose in your semi-private room, your endless, simply sitting, little left to say to strangers that surround you every day. I sit beside you, woman, thinned to skin and bone, and wonder, should I say I once hugged Zola too? Buried my face into her soft below, tried to find you there, but never called her mother. She did not smell the same as you to my 5-year-old self, and no one can take that homing scent away, smooth away the imprint long ago ingrained. And also from Unearthing Ida. This one I read because it was actually just a draft floating around in my head that actually was born at Cave. And I brought this to workshop, and I cannot remember who was facilitator that day, but it might have been Chris Abadi, I don't know. But I was accused of bringing a finished poem to so I thought, oh, that's cool. Which is a lot like Take. When I did Take at Cave Canem, Toy Dercott, I kept wondering why she didn't pull my poem out, and it was the last, and it was such an experimental piece of work. It had been born at Cave Canem when I heard on the news the story of a man who had been acquitted. The grand jury decided not to charge him for murdering the man who had abducted and attempted to rape his daughter. It was the first thing I heard on the news after not having any connectivity for the first 2 days. But this was born probably that same year. No, not that same year. Morning, IV time. Ida, Sinai Grace Hospital, August 2014. Sal's muslin for trough space, Autaga mornings, opened every eye still sleeping, announced daylight had reached above horizon, while high-pitched wails said Albie was out there tipping up feed buckets, brimming with corn cob, green stem, feeder grain, ready for the snout. Round-bodied snooze alarms singing after the crow. Eldrina and I used to chase pigeons round that pen sometimes, piglets round that pen sometimes in summer, chasing those little ones' frisky wiggle tails. More than a time or two, I slipped in all that muck, messed up another pair of cotton shorts and got the switch, but not at morning. Without looking, we knew Daddy'd be on his tractor heading toward the front acres where cotton, lope, and melon waited to be managed. He was good at that. Easy to do, manage the life of things that grow in stillness, things that move so slow your eye can't see. Don't take speed to catch a slow shell, though. You know that old fable. Best to keep on moving somehow. All them fruit got to do is wait for a wink from Daddy's gray-rimmed eyes to never go to waste. Eventually they all go ripe, full of seed and just about to bust, about the time their skins can't hold life back another day. I am familiar with the way of melons, how they swell and sit, take up rain and wait, drink that shimmer in through shallow roots, yielding just enough, can almost smell 'em strewn all over in the leaves. I bend to pick a treat, then wake up, empty-handed in this strange Detroit room. Look around and, oh, I'm still here. I wait for the nice one to come turn me over. Only this skin here can't keep the rapness in. Feels like these old bones been taken back instead of giving out. I am the stem that's left after Daddy walked the plat. Nothing between me and the wither but that steady drip managed by practiced hands. Okay. All right. Finding Samandia at Dusty Groove, Chicago. And the some of you've heard it, but it's been edited, so I can read it again. Dove is one of their best-known pieces of work, but it's all instrumental, so I try to tell people who Samandia is by singing their refrain, but it's all right, we can still go on. If you ever hear them, they're a funk band from the 70s that resurrected themselves in just recently. They're finishing a U.S. tour right now. Finding Samandy at Dusty Groove, Chicago. Dove by Samandy, 1972. The poem does not take place in 72, but references their song. Came searching for your funky beat with a gnawing for you in my belly. Its empty weight at my back, unanswered questions piercing my then, as though holy makes way for breath, emptiness for its moist air. Flipping through endless vinyls, I remembered the year after I learned to drive, Sharon, Mike, and maybe Ronnie all went to sleep, left me gliding with you over early morning 70 East in my Olds 98, boat of a car cradling us home from St. Louis. You were a travel home dove in the dark, brows of acoustic trill and roll, arms that drew us in with soft tribal percussions. In Chicago, could not remember what of you I wanted, just that more than 10 years later, I still loved you. You were a foreign leaf that left us mellow. We were once somehow more wise for knowing you, though you did not speak. Then I found you there at Dusty Groove, not among worn jackets and cracked jewel cases full of lesser treasures, but archived and only offered special order on a PC screen. I sent you invitation and you hurried to reply. And I let go a long exhale of yesterday road trip memories and that long drive home, thanking God I had not hit that blunt that knocked everyone out. When fog rolled in like your keen acoustic along low curves in the dark, your beats on repeat, keeping me from panic, its cat feet all I could see. Sharon, Mike, and I think now maybe Sam never knew how close they came to leaping past guardrails into ghostly trees with every turn. 2 decades ago, and I play you now again, but remember that you did not sing so much as chant along with your brothers, infecting me not with your sharp horn of a voice or your reggae kiss, your island mix intention, but the drum. Beat for me again, Samandy. It was the drum. Organic meats. About the time my body learned to bleed, you taught us how to fold clean towels. 4 sections lengthwise, 1 across, stacked so the smooth loop of fold faced outward on the shelf. The Air Force fold. We learned quickly military corners on a neat twin bed, angle and tuck, tighten, angle, tuck. Make certain, get it right before you hide pristine effort neath a cover of chenille. We learned to love organic meats from you, the king of fried pork kidneys, embraced a taste for cow's liver, slow, sautéed, tender sweet, in onion gravy, darkened in the pan. You never told us it was what you could afford. That year, we tried to climb onto the upstairs roof to pick cherries from the backyard tree. Overgrown and hiding paltry yield in upper branches, took our chances trying to wake you, found you bare, pale, and uncovered, arm across your moment's crush. One day, you ran so late, Ronnie and I heated corn, more than 1 can to be enough, suppered on that, watched TV, proud of our self-sufficiency till your face reddened over with fury, and we fought back tears, grew sweaty with tremble. We were two kids at D-Day, familiar with your leather strap, but you dropped your shoulders, threw up tired hands, retreated to your room without a word. Older now, we realize 2 cans of fresh like early corn must have felt like treasure. You were probably trying to stretch them too. And the climate in the country right now made these poems bubble to the top. And honestly, Geoff, like I said, I over-prepare, so I don't have any idea how long this set is.
This journey together, yeah.
So, Watch Night for Angela, 1619. Angela is the first slave recorded by name in all of the records that could be found. Angela, for Angela. She's actually penned in as Angelus, if you try to read it, but they call her Angela. 1619. Sweet girl, you were traded for food and provisions so captains who shipped you over the Atlantic could return to pirate their next great bounty. In my mind's eye, you are slim and beautiful, perhaps in Africa treasured like a queen. But here, as sun kisses the James River's mouth, scholars comb the earth for your bones, for evidence you existed beyond a slaver's manifest. We credit you among the first, yet before you, hundreds more were enslaved than we know, though our eyes have focused on 1619. The 20 and odd Negroes recorded as an anchor. Sweet child, they brought you here to harvest king tobacco and to harvest new slaves from your womb in a never-ending turn. 1619, 1863. 240 years we count from your disembarking till Lincoln penned the proclamation he thought would quickly usher change. 100 more years we suffered a segregation that called our greatest less than men, our former slavers better than, other than, more than, the rest of us immaterial, unimportant in this world. Watch Night. In a tiny Baptist church in Birmingham, where blocks away 4 young girls were stolen from the world, a congregation circles the sanctuary to welcome a new year, new age, new time of understanding, to say goodbye to the legacy that still lingered and reach forward to the best we can become. Tonight, we speak to King Tobacco. You no longer own us. We speak to the gold of Spanish conquerors. You no longer own us. We speak to enduring segregation. You do not own us. We speak to covert racism. You cannot own us. We speak to a fresh tomorrow. Look out. Our sons and daughters will be another proclamation. This time it must change the world. And this poem is 8 years old. Think about the timing, the aftermath of purchase. Say again how much you wish you'd known the foundations of this house leaked in inconvenient places, held secrets no one cataloged in deeds and regulations. Say again you knew the cost, but did not realize you'd be left to pay. For every truth withheld, every unexpected brick dug up from front yard scape where fountain, porch, or bed edge once restrained unpredicted wildness. Say again you signed because it was time for change, the dog confined to his fenced-in townhouse patio, You confined to your sandwiched space between immigrant and overly quiet. Say you've no regrets. Have a place for this remorse, this new level of expectation, this end to the fairy tale of ownership, rebirth, and freedom. Make the noise you thought you could, where no one would complain. And I think I'll wrap it up. It's called At Open Mic. They are counting upon you to read, as though words spring from your tongue like fireworks in a clear night sky. What must someone do when all inside is darkness, hard and straight, reaching up toward tomorrows? Hew down a log. Lay it open and gaping, splinters pointing toward their open ears like hands. Speak the splinter. Show the dead wood lying jagged, full of rings. Tell them, light it. Let it burn. One more from the book?
Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You have one in mind?
I don't actually.
You do that to me, I'm going to hit you with a hard one.
Yeah.
Huh?
I want to cry.
I'm going to hit you with a hard one.
Yeah.
Okay. It's easier than take. That's good enough. Okay. As you can guess, Ida was plagued with mental illness and misunderstood for it later in life. Schizophrenia. Later in her life, she suffered a stroke, and doctors did not know it was a stroke because they attributed the symptoms she was describing to her mental illness. So, you know, that is a underlying thread in the book, not a theme, but a thread in the book. But this poem is called Pulse, Ida on ECT, 1961. And the footnote is electromagnetic therapy. Electroconvulsive therapy was a common treatment for various mental illnesses in the 1950s and early 60s, especially schizophrenia. Up to 80% of ECT patients experienced some form of amnesia, losing either the hours leading up to a treatment or weeks or years prior to the event. This poem is called Pulse. You asked for it, Geoff. Woke up nowhere, reaching for my why. Gray-haired Sally purring, time to take your pills. Remembered card game in the common room, someone beating tables, loud drum beat like boots marching unison. Yes, boots marching, starch khaki, music, that voice again in my head, worthless. You hear me? Worthless. So I asked Sally, did she hear that? She calls the doctor every time. Doctor so sexy, I think I want him. But this man steals memories. Old sexy white man croon, quiet, Ida, or we'll have to do a treatment. Do you want another treatment? Is that what you need, Ida? Then something mumbled to two more blue shirts, lighter blue, not EMT blue. Oh God, not again blue, coming again to steal me, blue, so I practice. You had a child in Montgomery, Ida. She still 'neath your waist when the dam broke, slid out singing in a place like this, white uniform and bassinet, Apgar score and scream. Your sister's nose, your father's eyes, mother's long-suffering toe, feet in rack, shots in your back, sleep between contractions. You had her, held her, thin and sweet, little puckered lips. Remember, Ida, remember. You had a child in Otaga on a mat of blankets in your father's house, your mother's room. Canal marauder, bowed legs waving, she came. No rack, no anesthetic quilt. She came, squatting like a break in the fields, till she came, lifted into Sister Annie's hands. She wears your nose, your eyes, your jumpy little fidget, and a smile, round cherub face. Ida, remember. Grip the fragile thread, Ida. Think, grip, think, remember, tuck. Tuck them away before the pulse. 2 kids, backyard, chickens, pasture on a hill, trees back by the fence, gate to the garden. Some are cukes, some are corn, some are squash. Squash them deep into that brain of yours. Tuck, Ida, tuck. Cover them before they take you. Cover the back home things, the light. Cover the love sweet things. Cover sweet child check dress photos. Sundays at Glory Baptist. Kids in tow. Baby brothers smile. Pull them back from the keening ledge. Say, it'll be all right. Tomorrow, say, little brother, don't run. Stay. Say, hold on, don't let go. Say, cling to the wet with me. Hold the synapse tight. Grit your teeth. You are stronger than pulse, than membrane. Hold. Think, I had a daughter. No, 2. Think, sister, father, farm, freedom, alone. Think, alone. No, don't think alone. Think, nobody knows the trouble I've seen. No, think, no trouble. Think, no trouble. Think, music and swing dance, Ida. Think, Doris on the tube. Think, dance at the airbase. Sweet Lena skipping with you on red dirt road. And no voices. Think, no voices. No voices. Think, no voices. Think, think, think. Gray-haired Sally leaning over me. It's time to take your pills.